Alright, Shalom. First, I'll give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahshai, Bashim Kadash, the honors to the apostles and elders of GMS. Salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are there in the truth and in sincerity, and the women and children who follow. So, kind of spoke about Abraham on the highways and uh, how his faith is a testament for all of us. So, I just wanted to just do a little deeper of a dive in to exactly what I was getting to about him keeping his faith. So we're going to start pretty much at the beginning. This is Genesis 12 and 1. It says, "Now the Lord said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house into a land that I will show thee. And I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless him, it's like, and I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed." So that was the promise, that was the guarantee, the blessing that the Most High gave to Abraham. At that time was called Abram. He gave that to him. He made that promise to him. Okay, and according to the next verse, so Abram departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. So he made this promise to him. He made this covenant with him when he was 75 years old. And the main reason I wanted to go into this is because of this promise that he made to him at the age of 75. Now, this promise wasn't fulfilled when he turned 76 or 77 or 78 or 80 or 85. And we're going to go into it because you have to have faith. Abraham had tremendous faith, not just for uh, 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. We come in this truth, and we know that it's at the end, that we at the end of this thing. So it's easy to say, oh, well, I could do 2 years, I can do 3 years, and I'm not going to lie. When I first came in this thing, I thought that, America was done. It was toast. We got maybe 2, maybe 3 years. I'm 10 years in. After 10 years, you know, I still have to have faith that the Lord is going to carry me to the end of this thing, that the Lord is going to deliver me when it's time to be delivered. As he delivered me in this story that we're going to keep reading, because that's why I said this is a great read. It's a great show of faith and a testament. So let me see, is there anything else in this chapter I had? Okay, so we can go to the next chapter. This is 13, and Genesis 13 and 6. It says, okay, so yeah, this is now you got Abraham and you have Lot, and they're in the land, and their substance is growing too great, so they have to separate. Okay, this is verse 6. It says, "And the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdmen of Abram's cattle and the herdmen of Lot's cattle, and the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelt in the land. And Abram said unto Lot, Let there be no strife, I pray, between me and thee, and between my herdmen and thy herdmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before thee? Separate thyself, I pray thee, from me. If thou wilt take the left hand, I will go to the right, or if thou depart to the right, I will go to the left." And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered everywhere before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of Eden. Even as the garden of the Lord in the land of Egypt, uh, as thou comest unto Zoar. Then Lot chose him all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves one from another. So that's let me see, why did I get that? Basically, showing it's like they were together and then they separated. So Lot had, or Abraham had to have faith that the Most High was going to take care of both him and Lot. Okay, and we're going to see what happened within the story, because that's when the war broke out and they sacked Sodom and they stole Lot. Okay, they kidnapped him. So here's that story. It says, 14 and 11, it says, and they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all the victuals, and they went their way. And they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abraham the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, the brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abraham. Okay, it says, and when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. So it says that he armed his trained servants. They weren't just regular servants. It said they were trained servants. So they were capable in the arts of fighting. They were real men. And when you get into the story, they was really on some I want to say gangster shit, but for lack of a better term, they was really on that tip, man. This is where the story is. It's a really good story. I pass over the story. Oh, okay. Saki, my fault. I kind of got excited about the story and kind of skipped over the story. But here we go. So, verse 15, it says, and he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them which pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. So when you read it, it says that he went by night and he pursued them. So it was pretty much a raid. This is a raid, like on Django when they raided the carriage and they shot the gunpowder or whatnot. That was a raid. That's the mindset that you should be in. When you extrapolate and you picture the story in your mind. 318 men. You said that he divided the forces, so they probably came in from all different angles or from all different ways around the house strategically. Okay, and the Most High was with them. Abraham had faith. He didn't let they took his sons, his brother's son, his nephew, which at the time Abraham didn't have a seed. He got the promise from the Most High for his seed, but he didn't have a seed at that time. So you would imagine that Lot is the closest thing to him as a son. So he went to go get his son pretty much. All 318 of them, with faith in the Most High, that they would protect him. Same as in the days of David, when we were fighting the Philistines. They had faith. Same as Judah Maccabees, when during the time of Antiochus, they had faith that the Lord would be with them and protect them. And that's the same faith that we have to have in these days, that when we meet Jacob's trouble, the Lord is going to walk with us. He's going to sup with us. He's going to be with us and protect us. Like I said, man, Abraham's faith is a really big testament of how a man should walk in this faith, having the same faith of our father Abraham. Verse 15 and 1, it says, After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram. I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. Slack. And Abraham said, Lord power, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house this Eleazar of Damascus? And Abram said, Behold, to me thou hast given me no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. He's like, man, I've been keeping the faith, I've been doing this, but I don't have a seed. I don't have a son. I don't have an heir. So it says, and behold, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, This shall not be thine heir, but he shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thy heir. And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. He said unto them, So shall thy seed be. So he assured him, if you look at the stars, that's how many descendants you're gonna have. That's how many those are your sons. And you can imagine, it's kind of getting to me now. You can imagine the feeling that Abraham felt at that moment, being an old man with no seed at all, and understanding that the Most High is going to make this wonderful work happen in your life. You just have to keep the faith. And that's the same as us, because the Most High is going to make a wondrous work in our lives, Lord willing, that we're the hopeful elect. Lord willing, we're the elect. He's going to make that wonderful thing happen in our life, which is salvation, which is deliverance from the missiles, from the famine, from concentration camps, and all the race riots and violence, everything that's going to be going on in the days of Jacob's trouble. His elect, he's going to save. He's going to protect and shield in that day. He's going to bless in that day. He's going to exalt in that day. Endow with spiritual powers in that day, that they may have an escape. So the same way Abraham is looking to become that father of a nation, we're looking to be delivered out of Babylon. We jump down to verse 13. It says, And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve I judge, and afterwards they shall come out with great substance. That's talking about us going into slavery in Egypt. Because, it said 400 years. And when you think about that, that's a long time. We've been in America, damn near 400 years, maybe a little bit longer. Which, that's a whole separate lesson. But he was just assuring him. He gave him that prophecy, like, yes, you can be assured that I'm going to give you this great nation, and this is what's going to happen to them. But all righteousness did happen. So we started at Genesis 12. We're now in Genesis 16, and Abraham still does not have a seed. He's going back to that original promise. I'm pretty sure that his faith had been reinvigorated, and not that he gave up faith, but it's a faith builder. Of course, when you speak with the Most High and he gives you news like that, you know, he reassured him that definitely builds your faith. But like I said, it's Genesis 16, and he still doesn't have his heir. So this is 16:1. It says, "Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abraham, Behold, now the Lord has restrained me from bearing, and I pray thee, go in unto my maid, and it may be that I may obtain children by her." And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went into Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. So she felt some type of way about the situation. Even though she did what she thought was the right thing at that time, her being a woman, her carnality got to her, And the brother made a good point on that the other day about, how women are today, and they can't see a man with multiple wives. It was Sarah. Look at Sarah. One of the most, how can I put this? Sarah, back then there was a whole nother standard of how women compared to today. The women from yesterday to today aren't even comparable, and even she got jealous. So, and this is talking about Isaac, verse 10. It says, "And the angel of the Lord said unto her, I will multiply thy seed, that it should be numbered for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and thou shalt bear a son, and thou shalt call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction." Okay, so basically, she was hard with her. Okay, Sarai at the time, I guess, was very hard, and she was stern on Hagar. So Hagar wanted to leave, but the Lord said, "No, stay. Call him Ishmael, because he is gonna he is gonna multiply the seed exceedingly." And that's how we have the Ishmaelites today, which are the Arabs. And it says, verse 16, it says 16 and 16, "And Abraham was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abraham," or to Abram. So this is what, 11 years? 11 years after the initial promise of being a father of nations and having an exceedingly great seed. He finally gets his seed, which isn't even the seed that was promised. But 11 years, he at this point in time, he still has faith. That the Most High was going to deliver on what he said. So now, you fast forward from there. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, so this is what, 13 years later from that point? 24 years later from the original point? This is a testament of faith. It's the same as Noah. When Noah was out there building the ark for years upon years upon years, and it had never rained, he did it by faith. He walked by faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. There's no evidence that his wife was going to get pregnant and conceive a son. She's barren. She's 90-something years old. But by his faith, he kept the word. And you can just imagine, not to be graphic or anything, but him and his wife, him every night, wanting to deliver that seed, wanting to conceive that seed. You would imagine, he would stop on the Sabbath, but pretty much any other time, you know, in his mind, he's fulfilling God's will for him, the Most High's will for him, but it hasn't been accomplished. And you would imagine month after month after month after month after month the disappointment. But to keep the faith, knowing that the Most High is not going to abandon you. Said the Lord appeared unto Abram and said unto him, I am the almighty power, walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and the Most High talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall I call thy name any more Abram, but thy name should be called Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee, and I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee, and I will establish my covenant between me, between me and thee, and thy seed after thee, and their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a power unto thee, and to thy seed after thee. An everlasting covenant. You can't break that. That's how. Then this proves right here that you got to be a part of the seed, the chosen line of that seed, in order to achieve salvation. Because salvation is of the Jews. Verse 8, it says, And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee a land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their power. And the Most High said unto Abraham, Thou shalt keep my covenant, therefore, thou and thy seed after thee in their generations. So, again, this is the Most High coming back to him, assuring him that he's going to keep his promise. He's not just holding a stick with a carrot in front of his face to make him, just follow along. Okay, the Most High tested his faith to see how much faith he really had. And Abraham passed the test. This is verse 15. And this is kind of getting longer than I wanted it to be. But, if you're still with me, the water, what I'm saying? The water. This is some meat off the bones. Verse Genesis 17:15, it says, And the Most High said unto Abraham, As for Sarai, thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name, or shall her name be. And I will bless her, and give thee a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. Then Abraham fell upon his face, and laughed, and said in his heart, Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah that is 90 years old bear? So he was like, wow, really? Like, I'm 100. I'm already an old dude. And she's 90. She's old as dirt as well. And she's going to have a son? And Abraham said unto the Most High, Oh, that Ishmael might live before thee. So he thought that, Ishmael was that dude. He thought that Ishmael was that seed that the line was going to go through. And the Most High said, Sarah thy wife shall bear thee a son indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac, which means laughter. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with thy seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard thee. behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant, so, but, but my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at the set time in the next year. So he assured them that within a year, 10 months in the belly, you're gonna have a son. So going on to the next chapter. So now, like I said, we started at chapter 12. We're at chapter 18, and he's just now understanding what the Most High plan really is. But he's had faith this whole way. And they said unto him, where is Sarah thy wife? So this is when the angels came to visit him, okay, at the time. And they said unto him, where is Sarah thy wife? And he said, behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto thee according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah thy wife shall have a son. And Sarah heard it in the tent door which was behind them. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, and well stricken with age, and they ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. So she was no longer ovulating. She was no longer, having her monthly menstruation. So, in her mind, her biological clock had ran out. There's no way that she was gonna, make children, which is why she gave Hagar unto Abram. Therefore Sarah laughed within herself, saying, Am I waxing old? Shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? So she's like, well, all that makes sense. It's like if the volume keeps going up and down, I'm raising the phone up and down. That's so Slacky with that. But verse 13, and the Lord said unto Abraham, wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I of a surety bear a child, which I am old? Is there anything too hard for the Lord? At that time appointed, I will return unto thee according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, Nay, but thou didst laugh. So you can't get one past the Most High. Okay, so they went into Sodom and Gomorrah at that time. Which is also a good read, but not part of this in particular lesson. So we're gonna jump towards 21, I believe. Okay, so 21 and 1, it says, and the Lord visited Sarah as he had said, and the Lord did unto Sarah as he had spoken, for Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age at the set time which the Most High had spoken to him, and Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. So 25 years later, that's when that promise was fulfilled. Which, like I said, it's like the church folks say, he may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. But it's true. It's true. The Most High promised Abraham that he was going to be a father of a multitude, a father of nations, that kings was going to come out of him. And he delivered on that promise through Isaac. Okay, I'm going to end it here. Verse 5, it says, Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. So that proves right there that it was about 25 years that he had waited for that promise to be fulfilled. And this is just, the testament and the faith of Abraham, who also I guess I can get that too. Let me see. Bear with me because I didn't prepare to do this farce, but the spirit's telling me I'm gonna go ahead and do it, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get the sacrifice. Okay, this is verse 22. Let's like it. Chapter 22, verse 1, it says, "And it came to pass after these things that the Most High did tempt Abraham, and he said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thy only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I tell thee of." And Abraham, so he made him wait 25 years. And you can imagine this is a few years after that. Okay? And he told him to sacrifice him. So he put him through everything that he had to wait through before just to have a son, to tell him to sacrifice him. As it said, he tempted Abraham to see that if he was going to keep his way. And that's what we're going through right now. I'm glad I did do this because that's what we're going through. We're going through temptations. We're going through these different tests to prove, are we made acceptable in the eyes of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai? Are we walking worthy of the vocation, as we brought out on the highways the other day? So this is Abraham's test. Verse 3 says, "And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled an ass and took two of his young men with him and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went into the place which the Most High had told him. Then on the third day Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw a place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with an ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and will come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, and took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they both went and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am, my son. And he said, Behold, the fire and the wood, but where's the lamb for a burnt offering? So Isaac wasn't stupid. I mean, he's like, I know we had to do an offering, but gee, where's the lamb? Like something just ain't right. What's going on? And Abraham said, My son, the Most High will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. And they came to a place which the Most High had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him upon the altar of wood. So he tied him up so that he wouldn't, escape. You have to imagine how fearful of a thing this is for a kid. You, like I said, you're not stupid. You already know something was, not quite everything that it should be. Something was different about this trip. And then, you make the altar, and then he bounds you, he ties you up. And at that point in time, when he laid you on that wood, and he has the knife, what's about to happen? You're going to get sacrificed. Okay, so this is what's going on, I can imagine, in Isaac's mind. But at the same time, with Abraham being a man of faith, he must have told him. He had to have been explaining to him, this is what the Most High wanted. This is the will of the Most High. We have to have faith. He told me this is what to do, and we have to have faith. Just imagining the situation and how it's playing out. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thy hand upon thy lad, neither do anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest the Most High, seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. So he passed his test. And at the end of the day, we all have a test. The brother Azaria put it so eloquently on the highways. When you're in school, you learn things and you're tested. We came into this truth and we learned the scriptures. We learned what it is to actually be a Hebrew Israelite and to be the hopeful elect. In school, you are tested. You get a pop quiz. You're tested over each subject. And at the year's end, you have a final. It's the same in this truth. We're being tested in all of our different weaknesses, all of our strengths. And there is going to come a final test, a judgment, or not a judgment, but a final test that is going to pretty much seal your judgment, whether you're saved or whether you're destroyed. So I just, ask all of you who are paying attention to this video or watching this video, if you're still watching, do what you got to do to pass your test and to get the salvation and to get the victory. So with that being said, to give all praise, honor, and glory that's called law unto Yahweh by Shem Yahushai by Shem Kadash, the one said apostles and elders of GMS, salutes and honors to the elect, all the brothers across the four corners who are during the truth and the sincerity, and the women and children who follow. Shalom.